there, gorgeous souls. It's Vix, and I'm here with your reading for the month of March 2022. If this is the first time you've met me, hi, welcome. If you know the drill, then yay, thanks for still being here, and really glad to know these readings support you. What we're going to do today is we are going to pull 3 cards from the Angels Among Us Oracle. This is the Oracle deck that I created with Ellie Grant, the illustrator, and I love it. And I know a lot of you have been giving us so much positive feedback about this deck as well. So we're going to use it today to pull you 3 cards to support you on your journey. So this is not a predictive reading. This is not about what's going to happen to you this month. This is just an opportunity to kind of check in with yourself, receive some messages from the angels, and have a little bit of a think about how you want to move forward. It's really kind of like an intention setting party that we're having here. It's like, let's hang out at the beginning of the month, let's see where we're at, think about where we want to go, and work out how we're going to get there. So if you can, if it's safe for you to do this, I invite you to close your eyes. If it's not safe for you to do this, please don't close your eyes, but if you can, join us with your eyes closed. And let's just take one deep breath in together. So inhale and exhale. And then just take a moment to think about anything that's on your heart, on your mind, anything that is worrying you, any big questions that you have. And just kind of bring those to mind. You may like to drop them into your heart center. And just know that you will receive the guidance that you need to on this, whatever this is, whether it's through this reading, something I say, something you see in the cards, just an idea that pops into your head, or something that happens later in the day, a dream, anything at all. Just set the intention for yourself that you will receive the guidance that you need. And I just like to set the intention that everything that comes through in this reading is in alignment with the best and highest good of all, and so it is. Satnam. Okay, so let's pull our cards. Let's see who are the guides, the angels. So this deck is the Angels Among Us deck, but we also have some gods, goddesses in here as well, some saints. So let's see who would like to work with us this month and who has some advice for us on our journey. Okay, let's turn them all over and see who's here. Okay, we've got a really interesting mix of energies, really interesting mix of cards. So our first card is Saint Dymphna. She is the saint that can help you with your mental health, your general well-being, and she can also help you to get the support that you need. So I love that she has come up for us first and foremost, because this feels like a message from our angels, from our guides, that this is like the number one thing to be doing, right? We can focus on manifestation, we can focus on spell work, we can focus on all of these other things that we like to do. We can sit down and do, I feel like the message is we can sit down and do like a million money spells. But if we're not looking after our own mental health, we're not looking after our own well-being in all ways, it kind of doesn't matter what we do at the altar. It's like, make this a part of your spiritual practice, make this a part of your daily practice, whatever that looks and feels like for you. Do something to look after yourself. I see this happen so often, and I've been guilty of this as well in the past, not so much now, but definitely at points on my spiritual journey, where I just thought meditation could fix everything. And it fixed a lot of things, like it really did help with a lot of things. But, I got to a point where I was like, okay, but I'm trying to do all of these things and things aren't happening. And you kind of get to a point on the path, like a lot of us are drawn to this path, right? Because we first get into the idea of like, we want to feel better. I'd love to know from you as well, like if this is resonating with you and you're like, yeah, that's me, share in the comments and we can have a chat about it. but a lot of us just want to feel better. Like a lot of us are looking for feeling better in all different ways, right? Most of us aren't thinking, wow, I want to feel better. I'm going to really look after my my mental health as we get on the spiritual journey. It's more like, I want to feel better. I'm going to call on angels. I want to feel better. I'm going to meditate. I want to feel better. I'm going to wear some crystals. Like that's kind of the path that a lot of us get on. And when I say feel better, it's like whatever it is that draws you to this path. I want to feel more connected to my guides and angels. I want to feel more intuitive. I want to bring more prosperity into my life. You know, whatever it is that we feel will make us feel better. But that only gets us so far, and then we realize that we also have to take real world action away from the altar, although of course there's a question of, well, everything is spiritual, whether you're doing it at the altar or not. You know, you become a living altar, you become a living prayer. I feel like I'm rambling a lot with this, but the question that I want to ask you is, what do you need to do for your well-being? What do you need to do for your mental health, your general well-being? And do that this month before you even worry about, I want to manifest, I want to call down the golden ray, I want to do this, I want to do that. Are you looking after yourself physically, mentally, emotionally? What do you need to be doing for that? I feel like St. Dymphna's just like, let's put this as like the grounding to everything else that happens. Because if you only focus on, oh, I just want to access the higher realms and downloads and whatever, if you're not in your body, if your body is not you know, at its best, it's going to be really difficult to do anything with that higher information. And I see this happen all the time in the community, where people are so obsessed with opening the third eye and doing all the crown chakra work, but they haven't done anything for the root chakra. You know, they haven't done anything for the legs and the feet chakras. They're not grounding. They're not in their physical body. And what happens is a lot of those people really struggle because they just feel like, oh, I'm having all of these amazing spiritual experiences, but I feel so confused and I don't know what to do with them. It's all about balance. We have to be working with the higher chakras and the lower chakras. And St. Dymphna is here to tell us, work with the lower chakras, but don't just work with the lower chakras in the sense of, well, I better do a meditation on the lower chakras, right? And that can be really helpful lower chakra work, but also what you want to do with your lower chakras is you want to do physical activity as much as you can in your body. All our bodies are different. All our bodies can do different things. But what does it mean to be physical in your body? What does that look and feel like for you? Is it that you work out every day? Is it that you do self-massage, dry brushing, you know, like all of these things that we can do to be more in our body? What are you eating? How's that going for you? I don't want to get into a whole thing with food because I know that's like, can be really a hard conversation for a lot of people. But if there's something that you're feeling called to do, some changes that you feel called to make, is there a way that you can nourish your body with food in a way that is going to feel like you're looking after yourself? Those are all root chakra activities. Paying your bills on time is it's going to, like, these are things that help us to really align our root chakra, right? It's not just like, I see people do it all the time. I've done it myself too, where it's like, oh, I got to work on my root chakra. So you sit down and you do a meditation, but like, you know, the whole point of the root chakra is a physical, material expression. So do some yoga, do some Kundalini yoga. I'm going to talk to you more about Kundalini yoga soon. But yeah, that was a really long ramble on that. But it's really, really important. And so many of us in the spiritual community, like I said, I've done all of this myself as well. I'm not just like, it's not like, oh, you are doing this. It's like, I've done it too. We think that these like chakra meditations is the answer. But actually we have to move our body. We have to eat good food. We have to, you know, do all these things in our physical body, in our physical world. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay. Okay, Saint Dymphna. Also, the other thing about Saint Dymphna is if you are having some mental health issues, please see a professional. I'll say that, like, I've said that a million times, I'll say it a million more. Go and see a professional. Spiritual work can be a really good support for whatever you are doing with a professional, but please seek professional help if that's where you're at. But seek professional help, but also call in Saint Dymphna because she can really, really help. And she's helped me a lot when I've had some like issues with my anxiety. And she's been just like such a beautiful, comforting guide to have with you at those times. So call on her, see how that feels. Tell me in the comments. Okay, sorry, that was really long. All right. So then we have Archangel Uriel, illumination, inner power, ideas into form. I feel like what we're doing here is working our way up through the chakras a little bit. And I feel like Archangel Uriel is kind of like, he's like, yes. He's like, yes, you've got it. Now you're doing this work for your physical body. You're looking after your body. You're looking after your health, your mental health, your emotional health. You're looking after yourself. Now you can really start to do the work. Now you can really start to do the spiritual work. You can really start to have those downloads. I feel like a lot of us are getting downloads right now, but they're not going all the way in. And this still happens to me sometimes because I'm such a like air energy person. Sometimes you get an idea, right, for something, whatever, like I should take that course, or maybe I should study this, or I should go for that job, or maybe I should spend more time with that person, whatever it is. We get those downloads, we get those ideas come in, they come through the crown, and then they go maybe into the third eye where we start to visualize what that could look like in our life. Wow, that looks really cool. Then we express it, we tell someone that's what we want. The expression can be, tell someone you want the job, apply for the job, you write it down, you express that, you tell someone, hey, let's hang out, I want to spend more time with you, whatever it is. Then it moves down into the lower chakras where it's like, okay, now you actually have to do the work to make that happen. A lot of us with our manifestations and things that we want, it stops at the throat chakra. So sometimes we say something like, oh, I really want $1 million, right? And then we say it and we do the vision board and we're putting out, we're visualizing, oh, what that would look like. That would look so nice. We've got this idea, oh, it could be like so rich, this would be beautiful. We're expressing it, we're making the vision boards, we're doing all the things we're supposed to do. And then it goes into and then it doesn't come into the heart, it stays here. But what you really want to be doing with your manifestations is you want to be visualizing them, thinking about them, expressing, I wouldn't mind that, that sounds cool. But then it needs to drop into your heart, and it needs to be like, are you going to carry that in your heart? Or are you just going to talk about it? Are you just going to talk about, oh, I wouldn't mind $1 million? Or are you going to really put that into your heart and let it sit in your heart? Sometimes when these ideas come in, they seem like a good idea and we start talking about them, and then we move them into our heart and we're like, actually, I don't know if that is really what I want. Maybe it's not. And then it can go to someone else and go somewhere else. Other times something comes into our heart and we're like, oh God, that feels good. Like that really feels like what I want at this time. Then some people let it sit in the heart, and some people are, when I say some people, I include myself in this too, okay? I've done this so many times with so many things. It sits in the heart, and then it's like, oh, I really want that. I feel that in my heart, in my soul, that that's what I want, and that's what I'm manifesting. And then it just stays there. And it's like, well, what about moving it into the solar plexus, which is Archangel Uriel's domain, is the solar plexus. And this is where the energy is like, okay, now I'm going to move it into my solar plexus, and I'm really going to actually start to make this happen. I'm going to set the intention here of like, I'm going to actually do this. right? So this is like the space. This is where we're just talking about what we want. This is, I don't know why this has turned into a lesson on manifestation. So here we're talking about what we want. Here we're anchoring in, we're saying, oh, I really feel this. I really, really want this. And here in the solar plexus, you can't even see what I'm doing, but I'm here in the solar plexus. This is when we're like the intention. This is the Uriel energy. This is the intention of, you know what, I'm going to make that happen. I'm actually going to really go for that rather than it's just something that I want and really deeply desire. This is the energy of, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And you know what? When you can move it down into that energy, it's almost like as soon as you say, all right, I'm going to do it, you just start doing it, right? Like it moves into your lower chakras. Your legs just start moving, like, you know, literally or metaphorically. It's like it just begins to, you know, you start to walk towards it. You start to take action towards it. So again, another really rambling message, but this is the Archangel Uriel saying, do you really want it? Are you going to make it happen in your life? Whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, whatever it is that you're trying to create, do you really want to do it? And like an example from my own life is my fiction books, the Santolsa saga that I wrote. I wrote 3 young adult fiction, time travel fiction books. And the first one was here. It was here and here for a long time, for like almost the whole time that I was writing it, because I felt it so deeply in my heart that this is what I'm supposed to create. And this is what I'm supposed to do. And I did the writing, I did the expressing, and I did the feeling, and I did the expressing, and I did the visualization, but I didn't really do anything else. And then I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm going to send this out to agents and publishers and see if anybody's interested. And that was starting to move into the solar plexus of like, you know what, I'm going to try. It wasn't like that feeling of I'm going to make this happen. It was like, I'm going to try and do something with it. I'm going to try and make it happen. You know, that was the energy I was carrying. And I got rejected. Like I got like 100 rejections. And so I was like, okay. And then you have the opportunity at that point when you have 100 rejections for your work to either assume that everybody knows what they're talking about and give up, or you can say, Archangel Uriel, we're just going to do this anyway. And that's when I decided to self-publish. And that moment of just like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to self-publish it. That was the Archangel Uriel energy. And as soon as I decided to do that, I went online and I started researching, how do I self-publish a book? Like, what does that look like? And I went through that whole process. And then I published it, and then I wrote 2 more books. So it's a 3-series book. It's completed. 3-book series. It's completed. It's beautiful. I love it. A lot of other people are loving it too, according to the reviews. Go check it out. I would have brought my book if I'd known I was going to talk about that today. But this is the Uriel energy. You have to say at some point, you know what, I'm going to do this. So that was a really long way of saying, whatever you want, whatever's on your heart right now, you have the choice to either drop it down and say, you know what, I'm actually going to do this, or you have to let it go. Because otherwise you end up in a place where you're downloading all these ideas, you're talking about everything, you're not doing anything. You know, we all have done that. We all know people that do that. Maybe there's somebody that you know that you're like, that person's just always talking about stuff and they never do anything. Or you do move it into the heart and you're like, oh, I've got all these dreams and desires, but nothing ever happens for me. And it's like, well, you've got to move it down into the solar plexus. You've got to really just like grab it and be like, you know what, I'm going to make this happen. And then, of course, like a whole other conversation around, well, what if you do that and it doesn't happen? Maybe we can talk about that in another video, because this is getting long. But you've got to give it a chance. If it's really on your heart, you've got to give it a chance, because even if you move it into your solar plexus and you do the work and you're like showing up for it and you're like, I really showed up for this dream that I had, and it doesn't work out, at least you can say that you showed up. And that is like, that is powerful magic. That is so, so powerful. And if it doesn't work out and you're showing up, you'll be directed to the places that, you know, where you will find what you're looking for. You will be guided. Okay, our final card is Sekhmet. So just when you thought you had had enough of a kick up the butt from Vix in this reading today, we have Sekhmet. Fierceness, destruction, rebuilding. I feel like she brings another message around everything we were just talking about. She is saying you've got to let go of the old dreams and the old desires that are just not in alignment with who you are anymore. The things that are like, you know, that's just not going to happen for me. And that can be really difficult. And I give you a little example from my own life. I don't usually talk about my own life that much, so it's interesting that I'm feeling called to do that in this video. I went to music theatre school, and I actually spent 4 years there because I did another theatre course before that. So I spent 4 years of my life doing theatre, singing, dancing, acting, all sorts of stuff, like all day, every day for nearly 4 years. And that was my dream, you know, that was my dream. Funny, I was like, oh, we'll talk about that in another video, and here we are talking about it. That was so, so in my heart to do that. And I had moved it down. I had moved it down into my chakras, and I was showing up, and I was, you know, I was there, I was doing this, I was doing the study, I was doing the training. And it really felt like that was going to be my destiny, you know, that was going to be my path. And when I left school, when I left study, I was like really pretty burnt out from it. So I was kind of like, I think I need to take a little bit of a break. I did go to some auditions. I did, you know, try and do a few things, but nothing was really working. Like nothing felt like it was happening. And in the end, I was just like, you know, I'm just going to get into teaching because I needed a job. So then I went back to uni and I did my teacher training. And then somewhere along the line, it was like I kind of stopped wanting it so much. I was like, I just don't think that it's what I really want to do to, you know, be in a theatre show where I have to show up for like 8 shows a week and not get paid very much, and like it actually sounds really hard. I don't know if that's really what I want. And I don't even really know when exactly I let it go, but at some point I just let it go. And now I'm here and I'm doing this complete, like, if anyone had said to me when I was at music theatre school, Vix, you're going to be, you know, you're going to work as a tarot reader, you're going to create oracle decks and write books, and you're going to like reach a lot of people who are going to really, you know, vibe with your work, I just would have been like, no, I'm going to be a theatre star or whatever. But this message from Sekhmet, she's just like, it's okay to let things go. And when you do let go of your old dreams, it makes space for the new ones. If I had hung on to that, if I had clung on to, you know, I'm going to be a theatre star, if that had been my thing that I just would not have been able to let go, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be doing this work. Maybe I'd be performing in the West End somewhere. Who knows? Maybe it would have taken me on a completely different journey. But the question is, and maybe I'm doing that in a parallel life, but parallel lives is something we talk about in another video. But the message coming through is just like, check out these chakras, right? Check out, what are you talking about doing that you haven't moved down into the heart? What do you keep talking about doing that you, maybe if you really sit and you check in with your heart, maybe it's not even what you want to do anyway. So then you can stop talking about it. And then you can make space for the other things to come through. Maybe there's something that you've had on your heart for a really long time. I really want to create this. I really want to do this job. I really want to live in this place. I want to have this experience in life. Either make the plan to do it or let it go. And I know that's not always that easy. Maybe you have a plan like, I want to live in this country at some point in my life. You don't have to let that go right now. You can keep it there and you can say, if it happens at some point, that'd be great. But I'm talking about the things that it's not going to happen, right? Maybe you have always had a dream of being an astronaut, and it's like, this is obviously an extreme example, and then you're like, you know what? Maybe I need to let that go. Because when you can let that stuff go out of your auric field, you make space for what it is that your higher self's trying to tell you, what your higher self is like. I had to get rid of this theater dream so that I could make space for all this other work that I was here to do. So that's just how it was for me. I'm not saying everybody should give up on their theater dream. If that's you, please, go for your dream, but we have to let go of the stuff that we're carrying around in our auric fields. I'm just saying, like, tuning into kind of the collective of, I don't usually do it this way in these collective readings, because I don't usually pick up on the energy quite so strongly, because there's so many different people who are viewing this, but we're at 25 minutes in, so there's probably a smaller group of people who are still watching this. But the energy I'm seeing is like, I'm seeing us as, we're here, we've got our beautiful aura, and there's just so much stuff in the auric field. And if we're trying to manifest, it's really hard to do when there's all this stuff in here, all these ideas, all these things that we thought, I would like to do that one day. Oh, maybe I should do that. Oh, maybe this is a thing that I could do, and I could do this, I could do that, I could do this other thing. Notice what you're saying. Notice the things you're talking about. Notice the things that you're asking for. Put them into the heart chakra. Check in with the heart. Does the heart want them? Yes or no? If the heart says no, let it go. If the heart says yes, move it down into the solar plexus and start making it happen. That's the abridged version of this 27-minute video. Okay, so then we have these 3 beautiful guides to work with this month. We have Sekhmet. So everything that I've said, take what resonates, leave the rest. If you're looking for somebody to help you be more fierce this month, if you're looking for somebody to help you release and let go of the old and start rebuilding yourself, your life, your whatever it is that you want to rebuild, relationships, your life, your work, your dreams, anything, she is there to help you. Sekhmet doesn't mess around, however. If you call her into your life, she will help you make change, and she will not, she's not like, it's kind of like tuning into her right now, and she's kind of like, I'm not like one of those like, pretty little angels that's just going to come and like, oh, Vix, it's okay, do whatever you want, everything's fine. It's like, if you call me in, I will help you make the change. So don't ask me unless you're really serious. Then we have Archangel Uriel. He's a little bit more chill. You can ask him for help, and he's not going to like rip your life apart. But Sekhmet's like, only rip your life apart because it's going to be the best way for you to really move into the truth of who you are. So Archangel Uriel, if you need some help getting into that solar plexus energy, call on him to help you activate the solar plexus, and he can help you with all this stuff I've been talking about. If you're like, I have no idea what Vix is talking about or how to move this stuff down into the chakras, call on him, visualize him in front of you, or just visualize his energy like a beautiful kind of golden, orangey yellow at your solar plexus, and just visualize that, that energy there. And, because we talked as well about like the well-being, this is going to be probably, this is like where we get into like the conversations around Kundalini yoga, and I am going to start talking about that more really soon. I'm also planning a workshop, a beginner's guide to Kundalini yoga soon, so stay tuned for that. It's interesting that I'm talking about that because that's been something I've been thinking about for a long time, and now it's like, okay, it's time to talk about that. I've moved it into the heart chakra. I just haven't got into the, isn't that interesting? I just haven't gone into the solar plexus, but it's happening. But so if you want to activate the solar plexus, there's some great Kundalini yoga stuff you can do, but also sit-ups. Sit-ups. You can do all the meditations you want, or you can do some sit-ups. And if your body can do sit-ups, do sit-ups. If your body can't do sit-ups, do your version of sit-ups. If your body can't do a version of sit-ups, then stick with the visualization, and see how that goes for you. And then, of course, we have Saint Dymphna. She is here to support us with our mental health, our well-being, and to help us get support. If you need help, ask for help. This is a big message for this month as well. Whatever you need help with, ask for help, because people love helping. This is something that we forget sometimes, I think. Like, people actually really love to help. When someone asks me for help, as long as they're not asking me for like a free reading or like, you know, like they want to sit with me for like 3 hours and pick my brain about business or something for free, like, you know, that can be a bit OTT. But if somebody just, you know, asks me for some help or a little bit of guidance, or, you know, has a question about something, like, I love to help people. It makes me feel really good. And, you know, think of the last time somebody asked you for help and you helped them. How good did that make you feel? People want to help you. It makes people feel good when they can help you. So please ask for the help that you need. Okay, this was a long one. This is like the longest one of these I've done in a while. Probably because I rambled so much, which I like to do in these videos, as some of you who've been around for a while will know. If you want to work with me this month, okay, so I haven't really put this on the end of the videos for a while because I'm not officially, okay, I'll say this because I know half an hour in, people don't have the attention span that they used to on YouTube. So most people don't make it to the end of a video these days. If it's not like a 1 minute reel, it's like people can't handle it. But you're here, so yay. If you want to work with me, I'm not officially doing readings. So it does say on my website that I'm not doing readings at the moment. However, when people reach out to me via email and they say, hey, I really need a reading, most of the time I'll do it for you if it feels in alignment and it's like a question that I feel like I can help you with. So if you do want a reading, the readings that I'm doing at the moment are the email readings, and I can't remember, they're like 1,000 words, I think, and they're like £44, which I guess is about $60 US. I don't know the exchange rate. That's a total guess. But yeah, send me an email if you want to do that. Otherwise, stay tuned for the Kundalini stuff that's coming. But also, I have a whole bunch of courses, kits, meditations, loads of stuff over on the shop that you can use and access, and it can support you on your journey. There's so many different topics on there. I can't even begin to list them. Like we did, it's like the 4 years that I did in the circle. It's 4 years of content that I created for my membership is available to buy over there, and the kits start at £15, about $20 US. To go and check that out if you want to hang out and you want to dive deeper with me this month. Otherwise, follow me on socials and buy my book, which, by the way, I totally forgot. I should have brought it with me. Which Please is now out in paperback, or it's going to be out in paperback this month in the US, which is really, really exciting because it wasn't officially published in the US before. The Angels Among Us Oracle is out now if you would like to work with the angels in this way. And that's it for me. I'm going to stop rambling. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being a part of this community and for sticking around. And I really hope that there was something in this that was useful for you and supports you on your journey forward. Lots of love.